Have you ever wondered why your energy in the bedroom isn't quite what it used to be, even though you eat healthy, take your supplements, and do everything right? You might be shocked to learn that the very spices sitting in your kitchen, the ones you've used for decades, could be quietly damaging your manhood without you even realizing it. That's right, gentlemen. I'm talking about 3 common spices that most seniors over 75 use every single day. They seem harmless, natural even, but according to recent findings, they could be disrupting blood flow, lowering testosterone, and dulling the very spark that makes you feel like a man. Now, I know that sounds hard to believe. Most people think spices are always good, that they help the heart, boost immunity, and protect the body. But just as too much of a good thing can turn bad, certain spices can create a perfect storm inside an aging male body, especially when our metabolism slows down and our hormone balance shifts with age. A few months ago, I met a patient named Harold, 77 years old, spry, funny, the kind of man everyone loves to be around. But when his wife, Linda, nudged him into my office, he looked embarrassed. He told me, "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore. I'm tired, my drive is gone, and nothing's really working down there." He pointed down with a sheepish grin, trying to make light of it. When I asked about his diet, Harold proudly said, "We eat clean, mostly home-cooked meals. I even use lots of spices, turmeric, cinnamon, a bit of clove to keep things healthy." But what Harold didn't realize was that his healthy habit had slowly been sabotaging him. For those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Nolan Easton, and for over 30 years, I've helped men over 60 reclaim their strength, vitality, and confidence. I specialize in understanding how the aging male body responds to everyday habits, especially the ones we assume are harmless. And when I see cases like Harold's, I can't help but shake my head at how little most men are told about what's really happening inside their bodies. You see, the problem isn't necessarily the spices themselves. It's what they do in combination with an older man's physiology. Take cinnamon, for example. In moderation, it can support blood sugar control, but at the doses most people use daily, especially when combined with blood pressure or diabetes medications, it can lower blood sugar too much, leading to fatigue, mood swings, and yes, weaker circulation below the belt. Then there's clove. It's known for its anti-inflammatory effects, but it also contains compounds that suppress certain liver enzymes. That means it can slow how your body processes testosterone, effectively lowering your levels over time. The result? Less energy, slower recovery, and a noticeable drop in bedroom performance. Now, when I explained this to Harold, he looked stunned. "Doc, you mean this stuff I thought was helping me was actually working against me?" I nodded. "In your case, yes. Your body's chemistry at 77 isn't what it was at 40. Those spices interact differently now." The good news is, within weeks of adjusting his spice intake, not eliminating flavor, just balancing it, Harold started to feel a real difference. His morning energy came back, his drive improved, and, well, Linda sent me a thank you note that said it all. If you're watching this and thinking, "That sounds like me," you're not alone. Most men over 75 never connect their everyday meals to their performance and vitality. But that's exactly why I make these videos, to help you understand your body in a simple, practical way. Before we go further, I'd love to hear from you. Have you been using these spices regularly? Turmeric, cinnamon, or clove? Type yes or no in the comments below. I personally read your responses because they help me tailor future advice to exactly what you need. And while you're there, please tap that like button and subscribe, not just for me, but to stay connected to this growing community of wise, strong men determined to live their best years after 70. When Harold came back for his follow-up appointment, it had been about 4 weeks since we made those small dietary adjustments. I still remember the smile on his face, the kind of smile that said, "Doc, I think I'm back." He told me, "Linda says she can tell the difference too." We both laughed, but beneath that humor was something powerful, the quiet confidence of a man who felt like himself again. That's what inspired me to dig deeper into how these spices, which we've always viewed as superfoods, can actually shift from helpful to harmful, depending on our age, our medication, and even our body's changing chemistry. You see, when we're in our 40s or 50s, our body metabolizes nutrients efficiently. Hormones are steadier and blood vessels are more elastic. But as we move into our 70s, things change. The liver slows down, testosterone declines, and the fine balance between what helps and what harms becomes much more delicate. Let's take cinnamon again, for example. Most people sprinkle it on oatmeal or tea every day, thinking it's a heart-healthy spice. But for a man in his 70s, especially one taking diabetes or heart medication, too much cinnamon can dangerously lower blood pressure and sugar levels. When that happens, the body diverts energy away from circulation, especially from areas that need strong blood flow, like the penis. Harold was unknowingly doing that every morning. A teaspoon in his tea, another on his oatmeal. That's double what his body could safely process at his age. The result? Constant fatigue and poor circulation. Now, I'm not saying you should throw these spices away, far from it. What I want you to understand, and what I told Harold, is that it's all about moderation and awareness. As a men's health doctor with over 30 years of experience, I've seen that balance makes the biggest difference after 60. It's not just what we eat, but how much, how often, and what else we combine it with. That's where clove becomes another silent saboteur. Many older men like to use clove tea for inflammation or sore gums, but few realize that clove contains a compound called eugenol, which can slow the liver's ability to break down hormones, especially testosterone. Over time, this suppression can cause subtle hormonal decline. You might not notice it right away, but it creeps up: lower drive, less muscle tone, and reduced firmness during intimacy. When Harold stopped adding clove to his nightly tea, I suggested a simple swap: mild ginger water. It helped digestion, gave him warmth without interfering with hormones, and kept his energy more stable. 2 weeks later, he said, "Doc, I feel like I've woken up from a fog." Now, let's talk about turmeric, that golden spice so many of us love. It's been praised for decades for its anti-inflammatory benefits. And yes, in moderation, it does help. But here's what most seniors don't know. Turmeric naturally thins the blood. Combine that with common senior medications like aspirin, warfarin, or certain heart pills, and it can lead to lower internal blood pressure. For your heart, that might be okay, but for your erections, it's devastating. Why? Because strong erections depend on healthy blood pressure at the local level. If your blood can't maintain that slight pressure inside those delicate vessels, the signal never completes. You might feel the desire, but your body can't respond. When I explained that to Harold, he looked stunned. "Doc, you mean the stuff I thought was helping me was actually working against me?" I nodded. In your case, yes. Your body's chemistry at 77 isn't what it was at 40. Those spices interact differently now. Once we adjusted his routine, cutting the turmeric tea to twice a week and moving it earlier in the day, he started feeling more balanced. His hands weren't as cold, his morning energy returned, and his confidence started to rebuild naturally. Gentlemen, that's what I want for you too. Because you don't need another pill, powder, or secret formula. You just need to understand what your body is telling you and learn how to work with it, not against it. If this is making sense to you so far, take a quick moment and let me know below. Have you noticed changes in your energy or drive over the past few years? Just comment yes or no. I personally go through your responses because it helps me guide future videos to the topics that matter most to you. And please, if you haven't yet, hit that like button and subscribe, not just for me, but to stay connected to this growing community of wise, strong men determined to live their best years after 70.
When Harold's wife, Linda, came along to his third appointment, she was glowing. She said, "Dr. Easton, I don't know what you told him, but my husband hasn't smiled like this in years." Harold chuckled and said, "You should have seen her face when I started humming in the morning again." That's the part of my work I love most, seeing couples rediscover connection after years of frustration. Because the truth is, when your energy, circulation, and confidence return, it's not just you who feels better. It transforms your entire relationship. But here's what I want you to understand, gentlemen. Harold's recovery wasn't magic. It wasn't a supplement or a miracle cure. It was knowledge. The simple understanding of what those healthy kitchen spices were quietly doing inside his aging body. Once we removed the hidden saboteurs and supported his natural hormone and blood flow balance, his body did the rest. Now let's look a little closer at why this happens, in plain, senior-friendly terms. After age 70, the lining of our blood vessels, called the endothelium, becomes more fragile. It doesn't expand and contract as easily, especially in small arteries like those that feed the groin area. Certain compounds in cinnamon, clove, and turmeric, while good in moderation, can stress this system when overused. They can alter blood pressure patterns or thin the blood too much, which makes it hard for these tiny vessels to hold firmness during arousal. It's not that your desire disappears. It's that your circulation can't keep up with your brain's signal, so you feel ready, but the body doesn't respond. Many men blame it on age or low testosterone, but in reality, the cause is often chemical interference from their daily habits, spices, teas, or even certain health tonics that interact poorly with their medications. That's why I always tell my patients, at your age, your body isn't broken, it's just more sensitive. What worked for you at 50 might not work the same way at 75. It doesn't mean you stop living. It means you start living smarter. I'll give you another example. A few weeks after Harold's success, a gentleman named Bernard, 81 years old, came to see me. He said, "Doc, I saw your video about spices and thought, that can't be me. But then I realized I've been drinking turmeric milk every night for the last 2 years." Bernard had been following an online golden milk trend, thinking it would help his joints and sleep. But instead, his energy had dropped, his blood pressure fluctuated, and his wife noticed things just weren't happening anymore. When we checked his blood work, his clotting factors were low, a classic sign of too much blood thinning. And wouldn't you know it, he was also taking a daily baby aspirin. The combination had quietly reduced his local circulation, especially to his most sensitive areas. When I explained this, Bernard shook his head. "You're telling me my bedtime drink is the reason I've lost my manhood?" I smiled and said, "Not lost, Bernard, just on pause." We replaced his turmeric milk with a natural bedtime mix of warm milk and nutmeg, gentle, soothing, no thinning effects, and within weeks, he began sleeping better and regaining morning strength. His wife wrote me a letter that said, "Thank you for giving my husband back his sparkle." And that's the lesson I want you to take to heart. The goal isn't to live in fear of your spice rack. It's to understand your unique body at this stage of life. What nourishes you at 40 may harm you at 75 if your metabolism, blood pressure, or hormones have shifted. That's why I always encourage you to start paying close attention to how you feel after meals. Do you feel sluggish, cold, or lightheaded after your tea or dinner? Do you notice your energy dipping after certain healthy drinks? Those are signs your circulation is being affected. And remember, these little daily signals often appear long before bigger problems show up. If you catch them early, like Harold and Bernard did, you can turn things around naturally without needing heavy medication or expensive treatments. Gentlemen, if this conversation is resonating with you, let me know in the comments below. Just type yes if you've noticed changes in your energy or bedroom confidence over the years, or no if you haven't noticed changes yet. I personally review every comment because your experiences guide how I create future videos to help more seniors like you. And please, if you find value in this kind of honest, senior-focused health talk, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell icon. That way you'll never miss an update when we discuss more natural ways to strengthen circulation, boost confidence, and reclaim that masculine spark, even after 75. When Harold walked into my office for his final checkup, he looked like a different man. His shoulders were back, his voice was stronger, and there was a quiet pride in his eyes. He said, "Dr. Easton, I didn't realize how much I'd given up until I got it back." Linda was smiling beside him, her hand resting gently on his arm. She said, "You've given me my husband back," she said softly. That right there is what this journey is about. Not just fixing circulation or hormones or performance. It's about restoring a man's confidence, his sense of self, after years of believing the spark was gone forever. Gentlemen, I've spent over 30 years working with men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. And I can tell you this, you are not too old to feel strong again. You're not past your prime. The body is capable of healing and recovering when given the right chance. But you have to stop feeding it the very things that are working against it. Now, before we wrap this up, let's talk about what comes after removing those hidden culprits, turmeric, cinnamon, and clove. Because once you've adjusted your spice use, you'll want to replace those habits with things that support your blood flow, testosterone, and vitality. The first thing I recommended to Harold was balance, not restriction. I told him, you don't have to give up flavor, you just have to choose smarter. So instead of using heavy turmeric or clove every day, he switched to mild herbs like basil, parsley, rosemary, and oregano. These have natural circulation-supporting compounds without thinning your blood or interfering with hormones. I also encouraged him to add a small pinch of cayenne pepper, not enough to burn, but just enough to gently stimulate blood flow. Cayenne, when used properly, can awaken dormant circulation, especially in men over 70. It's like reminding your body how to respond again. Within a month, Harold said he felt alive from the inside out. The second key is hydration. Many seniors underestimate how much dehydration affects circulation. Thick, sluggish blood doesn't travel well through small vessels, especially in the groin area. So I had Harold start drinking 1 full glass of water 20 minutes before meals 3 times a day. It sounds simple, but it transformed how his body responded. And lastly, I reminded him that consistency matters more than perfection. A single teaspoon of cinnamon won't ruin your week, but daily overuse, that's what causes the slow, silent damage. Our goal isn't to create fear around food, it's to create awareness. Awareness gives you control, and control gives you freedom, the kind Harold rediscovered. Now, let's talk about the emotional side for a moment, because I know many of you watching right now have silently carried frustration or embarrassment for years. You've told yourself it's just part of aging, but it's not. What I've learned from my patients, from Harold, from Bernard, from hundreds of others, is that reclaiming your strength isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing the man you used to be, the one who laughed more, stood taller, and felt proud of himself. That man is still there. You just have to stop numbing his energy with hidden habits that dull your vitality. So here's what I want you to do next. For the next 7 days, take a close look at your kitchen habits. Notice where these 3 spices show up in your tea, your meals, or your evening drink. Cut them down to just twice a week and give your body time to reset. After a week, pay attention to how you feel when you wake up. Is your energy higher? Are your hands and feet warmer? Are you starting to feel that quiet confidence returning? These small signs are your body's way of saying thank you. And if you've been following this video series and found it helpful, I'd love for you to share your experience in the comments below. Just type yes if you've learned something new today, or no if you haven't noticed changes yet. I personally read through every comment because it helps me understand how to guide you better. One step, one topic, one man at a time. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss future videos on natural senior health, vitality, and men's wellness. Every week, I share science-backed, senior-friendly advice to help men over 60 live stronger, longer, and more confidently without relying on risky pills or false promises.